Welcome to day 5 of a 7-day prenatal series. Today we're going to start standing. The theme of the class is balance and stability. So trying to find our center amidst a body that kind of keeps changing the center of our gravity. We're going to try and build coordination through some standing sequences as well as floor. And that will really help with strength, mental focus, and of course mobility. You will need blocks, perhaps a bolster, and if you have just a chair or a wall near you, that will be all you need for today. So as you come to stand, I would have the feet slightly wider than hip width so that you can feel really stable. And we're going to think of lengthening the tailbone down ever so slightly to avoid overarching into the lower back. So that sense of lifting through the front of the hip bones, releasing the tailbone down, very soft bend in the knees, and then placing one hand on baby, one hand over the heart, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, keeping the chin down as we lengthen into the back of the neck. Think of growing tall still through the crown of the head and spreading the toes and really feeling that anchoring through the soles of the feet. Really as though you are growing roots from the feet into the earth. And if you are stable enough, feel free to close the eyes. Otherwise, maybe just keeping your gaze cast down. But if you can, eyes are closed. And of course, you can either stay quite still or just a very small swaying side to side. And as you sway, maybe repeating to yourself, I am steady, I am strong. The breath is fluid, maybe working with our ujjayi, victorious oceanic breath that we really feel and can connect to in the hollow space at the base of your throat. And I quite like placing my index finger just gently resting on that space. And as you breathe, feeling the vibration created by your breath, that ha sound, as you breathe in and as you breathe out. The facial expression is relaxed. We've got a slight gap between our upper teeth and lower teeth, relaxing the jaw. I am strong. I am steady. Connecting to our base through the soles of the feet. And then when you're ready, feeling the eyes open, releasing the hands. You're going to keep the left foot where it is and then step the right foot back. Gently hug the thighs and again checking that both hip bones are facing forward. Arms float up and over as you breathe in, grabbing a hold of the right wrist with the left hand. Think of lengthening through both sides of the waist and then gently side bending over to the left, maybe gazing down. So in this way, so we're working here the stability through the legs. Feet are still rooting, but at the same time creating space for the breath, for baby. Breathe in here, working continuously with your ujjayi. slowly bring the chest back through center, placing both hands on the hips. So keep grounding through the left foot. Maybe have a soft bend in that left knee. And then see if you can come up into a standing balance. So again, thinking of drawing, hugging baby towards the spine, engaging and drawing the energy through the standing leg. And then we're going to circle the right ankle a few times in one direction. Keep the jaw relaxed, facial expression relaxed, and then changing direction with the circles. So again, remembering here, we're trying to work our balance as well as the stability. So from here, staying still as steady as you can on the left foot, we're going to think of drawing a figure of 8 or an infinity loop with the right knee. And the idea, I'll just change angle so you can see, is that that loop goes, there's a little loop forward and a little loop back. And so as we move in this way, it's not about going fast, we're trying to move with control, with a sense of softness too, just like water. Water, there's that fluidity, that softness, but still that strength. Water can wear down stones with its soft strength. So just moving in this way, noticing how the standing leg should start to really feel a little fiery. Lovely. And then changing direction with your infinity loops. If you need to take a pause and shake out the standing leg, of course, feel free to do that. Keeping the gaze cast at one point will just help with balance. And of course, keeping your ujjayi working. Lovely. Whew. And then coming back, maybe shifting the hips side to side. Give a bit of tapping. Lovely. Maybe your heart rate has already just gone up a little bit. And then from here, right foot, toes spread, thinking really of grounding through the right foot. Hands on the hip. And then left foot comes back and across. We're hugging gently the thighs together. Maybe a soft bend in the legs, but again, making sure that our hip bones are facing forward. Both arms float up and over, this time grabbing a hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Think of lengthening through both sides of the waist. And then exhale as you side bend over to the right. And again here, gazing either forward or down, whatever feels nicest for your neck. And then breathing into the space we are creating. We're still finding that stability through our base and the freedom of movement through the upper body. One more deep breath in, releasing out. And then back through center, hands on the hips, stabilizing through the right foot as we come into our one-legged balance. Engage through the right glute as we circle the left ankle a few times in one direction and then a few times in the opposite direction. Keep hugging gently baby towards you. Lovely. And then we're going to go into our infinity loop here. So moving in one direction to start with. The standing leg can be slightly bent. Just remember to activate the energy all the way up into the glute. And noticing how it feels on this side. So you might feel and hear little crackling sounds. Maybe this side feels a bit more open, maybe a bit more restricted. And we're going to change direction with our loops, moving in the opposite direction. And then coming back through center. Again, whatever movement feels good. Maybe it's just a swaying of the hips, maybe just a few circles in one direction. and then in the other. And then we're going to be using our blocks here. Again, so option one will be with blocks. If you feel a lot more stable, feel free to try this without blocks. So I'll show you both. So we're going to work lengthening, warming up, and strengthening our hamstrings. So feet, again, maybe a little wider than hip width. Soft bend in the knees, and then just fold forward, maybe hands on blocks, so you could have them on the higher setting, on the medium setting, on the low setting. So wherever you are, so I'll show you with hands on the blocks, you're going to lift the heels off the ground and then slowly release them down. So we're lifting, really just trying to move here, the heels without moving the rest of the torso. If this feels pretty easy, then you can try just clasping opposite elbows, keep your gaze on the mat in front of you, and then raising the heels and then lowering them down. And we're breathing here as you lift and release. Working the stabilizing muscles in the ankles, the legs in general, and finding length and strength in the hamstrings. Last one. And then maybe using the blocks here, placing the hands on the blocks as you start to walk your feet back, coming to find Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So again, just an option if you don't want to use your blocks, feel free to have the hands on the floor. Remember, we've got a slightly wider stance, maybe a soft bend in the legs, and then we're just pedaling one leg out and then the other. A nice way to release into the back of the legs. If downward facing dog really doesn't feel good for you at the moment, you could just work with that leg extension on all fours, lengthening one leg and then the other. But if your Adho Mukha Svanasana is still a nice place for you to be, then working here, keep the crown of the head relaxed down towards the earth. Breathing as comfortably as you can. And then slowly bring both knees towards the ground at the same time. Knees out wide, and just come back for a moment into a child's pose. Either, if you don't have blocks, you could have one fist over the other, forehead resting, maybe using a block or a bolster. And just feeling again, wherever you are here, the breath around the ribcage. And so we're thinking of broadening the ribcage outwards in all directions, trying to really create that space in the upper part of the ribcage, but still keeping our shoulders relaxed. So let's take another 3 to 5 conscious breaths here. And at the end of your last exhalation, peeling yourselves back up to hands and knees. We're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. Again, just changing the habitual way of doing it. So this time as you round the spine, gazing towards baby, you're inhaling, exhaling, hugging baby towards the spine as you gaze forward, lengthening the spine. Inhaling into your cat, exhaling into cat, supporting in that way the lower back. Last one. Back to your neutral spine. We're going to place, so bring the knees closer together and then bring both feet over to the right and then gaze over to the feet. So we're creating a C shape with the torso, creating space here in the left side of the body, breathing here. And then slowly come back through center. We're just going to swap, so now both feet over to the left, and then we're gazing over to the feet on the left side, creating space on the right side of the body, breathing into that space. And then slowly make your way back to center. So to continue with our stability here and balance, we're going to go through a few rounds of bird dog. So lengthen your left leg back. Think of pressing the left heel back, tone through the left leg, the left thigh, hug gently baby towards the spine. And then let's lift the right arm forward and up, palm turned in. And then keeping the foot flexed, toes pointing down, slowly lift the left leg up. So this will be your inhale. Exhale, slowly come back to all fours. Inhaling, changing sides, so right leg, left arm, lift up on the inhale. Exhale, soften, release, back to all fours. So keep alternating side to side. The inhale lifts you up. You're trying to really reach the fingertips and sole of the foot in opposite directions here. Keeping the gaze cast down towards the front of your mat, maintaining length in the cervical spine. Keep the jaw relaxed, the tongue released from the roof of your mouth. Remembering in your practice, at any time you need to drink water or take a break, please do so. Listen to your body. We'll do another round, side to side. And so from here, toes tuck under. Start to walk the hands back towards the knees. Lift the knees off the ground. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Soft bend in the knees, placing one forearm on one thigh and then the other. And then using the glutes here, lifting all the way up to stand. Coming to the front of your mat or to the side. So we're gonna do a little flow here, working standing balances, but at the same time moving. So that will just help shift our balance and have to really work gently with ease to refine our center. So the important thing as we come into balances is not to hold our breath, to maintain that sense of depth of breath, focus, and remembering our ujjayi. So starting with the right foot on the ground, we're going to come into Vrikrasana, our tree position. So if you're feeling quite unsteady, feel free to practice near a wall. You could have one hand resting, or if you are using standing on your right foot, you could be placing the left knee gently for it to touch the wall. So that will just make you a bit more balanced. Otherwise, so option one, you could have, rather option two. So option one would be with the wall as a support. Option two, you've got the all of the foot on the floor, heel in. Option three, you've got sort of the foot inside the calf. And you can, if you want, bring the foot all the way up. Just avoid the knee area. We don't want to be putting pressure. So choosing whichever option suits you today. We're hugging sort of the foot and leg into one another, feeling maybe the weight move a little bit, trying to keep that softness, that space in the rest of the body. The jaw is relaxed. Hands can stay in prayer position, Anjali Mudra, gently hugging the hands together, activating your core. And if you feel steady, arms are going to come up overhead. And if having the hands in Anjali Mudra overhead feels quite constrictive, feel free to open the arms out. And so we're breathing here, keeping the gaze cast at one point in front of you, whether that's the floor or the horizon. Let's take 5 conscious breaths here. Hands slowly release back towards your hips. Bend into the standing leg and then circle the left knee out, in, out, and back to the floor as we come to find our goddess position. So from here we want heels in, toes out, and start to sit down into the seat. So as though you had a wall behind you, and just coming down, only going as far as feels good. Okay, and so all we're going to do here is we're going to be changing between our goddess pose, so with our elbows bent as though we were carrying an invisible tray on the exhale, and then inhale, straighten the arms and the legs, really find that energy through the body. Exhale, breathing in, engaged tone, exhale, soften. Feel free to do that with the eyes closed if you feel stable enough. Breathing in, exhaling. Last 2. Holding in your goddess here with the knees bent. Eyes can be open or closed. And just notice where the mind is going. If you're just thinking, when are we coming out of this pose? Knowing that this too shall pass. Try to stay with the breath, softening as you breathe out. And slowly lengthen. You're going to, just for a little counterpose here, bring the insteps of the feet parallel or gently pigeon-toed. Hands on the hips, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. You could be using hands on a block or to the floor. And just come into a comfortable forward fold here. Maybe shifting the hips side to side. You could bend into one knee and then the other. Keeping hands slightly more in front of you. So just doing whatever your body is intuitively calling for. And then come back through center. Gently place the hands onto the thighs. Help yourself up. And then toe heel the feet once more close together. So we're going to do Vikrasana tree pose on the other side. If you were using a wall, and then when we're going to be doing the left foot, so you've got the left foot spread and then making your way into whatever position you had, and just have the right knee gently in contact with the wall to help with the support. And if you were doing it without the wall, again, you've got your option 1, 2, or 3. Just choosing the same option as you did on the other side to maintain that evenness. And so we remember to feel that sense of roots growing through the sole of the left foot. From the sole of the left foot, really down far into the earth, supporting you as you stand still and balanced. The hands, yet again, would be in prayer position in front of the heart, gently hugging the hands together, or if you feel stable enough, maybe hands come out wide. And another option is you could bring the tip of the middle finger to the tip of the thumb on each side, helping with this Hasta Mudra, with this hand seal, find a bit more stability, grounding, that apana vayu, that downflow of energy. And again, from here, 5 Ujjayi breaths, inviting that steadiness and ease in the posture. Stiram Sukham Asanam. Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras mentions that every single pose should have the balance between the steadiness and the ease. So that strength, but still feeling the breath flow effortlessly, profoundly, in and out. One more deep breath in, and a long breath out. And then slowly bend into the standing leg, come back. Lovely. So again, maybe moving the hips side to side. You might want to do a few hip circles in one direction, and then the other. And then we're going to do another little balancing sequence here. So if you come to the front of your mat, I'm going to start in Utkatasana chair pose. So as you bend into the knees, send the hips back, think of lengthening the tailbone down, hugging gently baby tools this morning. Arms come out wide in front of you, pinky fingers turned in. So from our chair pose, you're going to place a bit more weight into the left foot and then slowly come into Virabhadrasana 3. So hands come through prayer or out in the airplane as you straighten the back leg. Keep an internal rotation in the back thigh as you come to find Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. And then bending into that left knee with control, slowly, mindfully, stepping back into a high lunge. And in your high lunge, really enjoy a nice stretch here. So you're thinking, again, as you lift the front of the hip bones up, you're getting a nice release in the right thigh. And we're still pressing the right heel back to relax into the calf and Achilles. And then we come back through Warrior 3 and into chair pose. So we're going to move each from side to side. So this time running through the right foot, hands to prayer, as we slowly shift into Virabhadrasana 3. With control and softness, we bend into the standing leg, making our way into high lunge, lifting the front of the hips. Back into Vira 3. Keep the jaw relaxed, facial expression relaxed, and into chair pose. Vira 3 on the opposite leg. So this is all about that balance and finding our center as our weight shifts. moving in a way that is slow, trying to find a bit of elegance in this flow, moving away from rigidity, keeping a soft smile on your face. And you're moving really with your own breath. So you might be going at very different speeds, and that's okay. But just notice the way to get in and out of a posture is just as important as the posture itself. So here the journey in and out of our chair pose into our flying warrior, into the high lunge, moving in a way that is as graceful as we can. Working with your ujjayi breath. And then, as you've done both sides evenly, making your way back for a moment into your mountain pose. Spreading the toes, feet slightly wider than hip width. Again, thinking of gently hugging baby towards spine, maybe placing both hands on baby or one hand on the lower back, one hand on baby, just to help feel your pelvis supported. And then closing the eyes, swaying a little bit side to side as our breath comes back to a natural rhythm, allowing the facial expression to be as relaxed as can be. And then we are going to be using the wall. Again, that's just an option. We're going to be doing our half moon Ardha Chandrasana. The wall is there to help with balance. Of course, if you're feeling very stable and want a little challenge, feel free to do that on your mat, but I'll demonstrate at the wall. So if we're starting with the right foot, right leg as our anchor, you're going to have the block maybe on the higher setting to start with. And you kind of just want to have, not be too far away from the wall, so that as you lift up in your half moon, in case the balance shifts back, the wall is just next to you supporting you. So finding a Virabhadasana 2 stance, warrior 2 stance, you're going to bend into the right knee and then start to place the right hand on your block. And you want to have your right foot a bit over to the left and the block a bit closer to the wall. And you've got roughly a foot distance between both. Left hand is on your sacrum. We're lifting the left leg up, engage the left leg, and then externally rotate the left foot. And then we're starting to lift up with the leg, and then with your left hand, maybe hand is onto your right rib cage, and you're slowly assisting the rib cage to open up, finding a nice open rotation, and maybe the left hand reaches up. So all extremities are engaged, all limbs engaged. So as I said, you could be doing that leaning on the wall, which is quite nice. And of course, if you'd like to be doing that just on your mat, it's exactly the same. You've just got your block to the right hand side of the foot and forward, and slowly making your way up. An option, if you are not near the wall, is to then bend into the left knee, and then with the left hand, grab a hold of the top of the foot and press hand and foot into one another. Still breathe here, really work that stability. Keep your gaze on one point as we expand and breathe. Maybe losing balance as I just did. And so wherever you are, we'll be coming back through our half moon, and then bending into the standing leg, making your way into warrior two just for a moment. Extend through the front leg, turn the toes in. We're going to come back to our forward fold, just to release a bit into the legs. Soft bend in the knees, and then fold forward, whether the hands are on the floor, maybe on a block. And again, as the toes are either parallel or gently pigeon toes, you might want to bend one knee and then the other, allowing the crown of the head to release towards the earth. And then bring the heels in, toes out, soft bend in the knees, placing the hands on the thighs as you come all the way up. And so we're going to do that on the other side, so that I don't leave you lopsided. So if you prefer the version on the wall, coming to set yourself up against the wall or near the wall. If you prefer doing it without the wall, that's fine. Remembering just in terms of block placement, the block will be a good foot forward of your left foot and then hip width distance apart to the left. That will just help with stability and balance. And then as you bend into the standing leg, think of really engaging all the muscles, stabilizing muscles. Right leg also thinks of lengthening, engaging and turning. We've got an external rotation in the right thigh, and then slowly lifting the right leg up. Right hand to your left rib cage, and slowly assist the rib cage in that nice open twist rotation. Maybe right hand comes up. You might want to keep your right hand on your sacrum. So wherever you are, thinking of drawing the energy in the opposite direction, all limbs engaged. Breathing here, relaxing the jaw, the tongue, creating as much space in the body as you can. And again, if you did so on the other side and want to play with Kapatanasana, you could bend into the right knee, grab a hold of the top of the foot, and then you're pressing foot and hand into one another as you find a bit more opening. And again, we're not holding the breath, trying to breathe as smoothly, as deeply as we can, keeping the facial expression relaxed. Noticing how it feels on this side. We usually tend to have one side that feels a bit more stable, a bit more strong or open. So we're just mindfully paying attention to this information. If you are holding the foot, gently release the bind, come back through half moon, and then bend into the standing leg. Slowly make your way back up into Virabhadrasana 2. And then extend the front leg, turn the left toes in as we step back up for our wide-legged forward fold. So instep of feet parallel or pigeon toes, maybe soft bend in the knees as we fold forward. I quite like reaching the hands forward and sending my hips back. It just gives me a bit more space, I find, in the rib cage. Breathing in a way that feels a bit more spacious. And then Relaxing crown of the head. If you're suffering with heartburn, of course, go as far down, but you can still use your hands on the block and have the spine parallel to the floor. You're still getting a nice stretch in the back of the legs. You can still bend one knee and then the other. So, as always, paying attention to what your body is calling for, honoring it. And then slowly toe heel the feet a little closer. We're going to come into our Malasana, garland pose, as we bring the hips down. So, as always, you've got the option to use a block underneath the sitting bones if you so wish, or to do it without blocks. Either way, what we want to avoid is having the spine slouching. We want to grow tall, hands in Anjali Mudra, pressing the back of the elbows into the thighs, thighs back into the elbows. Find length through the crown of the head. Keep the chin gently down. And we're going to do a few rounds of Brahmari breath, the bumblebee breath. So we'll be inhaling and then exhaling as long as we can with a sound. And keeping the chin down so that really that echoing, all that vibration travels down into the pelvis. So we'll do that 3 times. Inhaling, gently gathering and out. Exhaling as you release. We'll make our way out of Malasana. So if you're on the block, just moving the block for a moment, going back to sit onto the bum, and have your just hands behind you, feet quite wide. I'm just going to bring the knees side to side in a windscreen wiper action, working internal and external rotation. Okay, coming back to center. So we're going to have the soles of the feet together, clasp the hands, and then we're drawing the hands forward, gently opening, and then exhale, palms towards you as you round the spine. Inhaling, exhaling. So here we're working with that pelvic tilt, anterior tilt as you breathe in, posterior tilt as you breathe out. Last one. And back. Okay, so from here, coming to find our final relaxation pose. So if you are more comfortable on your side, coming onto your left hand side, head supported maybe by a cushion or a block, having your right leg, knee to ankle, the whole leg supported, maybe using another block in front of you so that your right hand and arm can feel supported. And so as you make your way into the final relaxation pose, taking time really to feel comfortable, supported, lengthening the breath on the exhalation, maybe taking even a few sighs out. Feeling heavy, rounded, inhaling calm, exhaling a sense of ease and release. And when you're ready, allowing the whole body to soften as you bathe in the residue of your practice. Paying attention once again to your breath, feeling the ribcage expand as you breathe in, soften as you breathe out, inviting some movement into fingertips and toes, maybe reaching your arm and leg out into a nice big stretch. And then we're bending the knees, using the right hand to slowly lift yourself up, and to find a comfortable seated position of your choice. Lengthening the spine, hands come to your heart as we bow our gaze towards our heart, our inner teacher. Honoring all the teachers, no matter what form they take on this path, as we honor our body for the incredible awe-driven work that it's doing by creating this life within. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you here tomorrow for day 6. Namaste. Many blessings to you and the baby inside of you.